Hey guys, Matt Woxler here from Wheels Through Time Museum, just back from the Wauseon Antique Motorcycle Swap Meet in Northern Ohio. One of the big antique bike meets put on by the Antique Motorcycle Club of America every year. One of my absolute favorite places to be. My dad and I had been going to Wauseon since I was just a kid, and my dad much longer than that. I think it's been going on close to 40 years. One of our favorite places to dig up old motorcycles. Inside the museum, there's about 375 bikes, dozens of machines, parts beyond compare, memorabilia, all sorts of great stuff inside this museum has come from or been found at the Wauseon Antique Bike Meet this year. Awesome meet, had a ton of fun, picked up some incredible stuff, and actually on the way to Wauseon, we made a few special stops, picked up some incredible motorcycles, stuff you guys are going to be absolutely stoked to see right here at the museum. I'm going to tell you all about it. As you can see right here in front of us, 1935 Harley-Davidson dirt tracker with a history that you guys are absolutely not gonna believe. This machine came from the Indy Speedway Museum, and we're gonna be doing a full show on this bike coming up real shortly, talking about some of the history. Now, the bike, as we know it, is one of maybe 4 known, and it happens to be serial number 1. We're gonna tell you all about this bike, and over the coming months, hopefully get into the engine a little bit. And of course, as you guys know, everything here at the museum runs, and in short order, I don't think this machine would take too much to get going at all. Here it is, 1935 Harley-Davidson CAC. One of the baddest motorcycles I've ever laid my hands on. National championship stuff. Just one of the many awesome things we found at the Wauseon Antique Bike Meet, guys. So stay tuned for more programming on this. Right now we're gonna open the trailer, get some parts unloaded. Guys, check it out.
Just figure here we go.
All right, man, this has got to be the nicest frame I've seen of any sort. Let's slide this thing right out in front. Check this out, Chris. NOS, never worn, 1920s, early 30s Harley-Davidson raincoat. There's the Harley, the mark of quality, the Harley trademark tag in there. I don't believe the belt inside. I don't think this thing has ever been worn. Houndstooth, wool, feel how heavy it is, beefy. It's heavy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is meant to be a coverall. 1920s Harley-Davidson raincoat, guys. I got this from my friend Brian Cubbage. Just one awesome piece of memorabilia here. Look for it inside the museum on a mannequin coming up soon.
Yeah, I've seen, we've got a bunch of the jumpsuits, but never seen the raincoat.
Never seen the raincoat, and you know, this thing actually looks like it's about my size, so it may not be on a mannequin sometime soon. But coveralls meant to be worn over your uniform or over your clothes. Just really amazing stuff. Wauseon Swap Meet, all sorts of stuff. Now, of course, guys, I told you I made a few stops early on. One for the Harley Pea Shooter over here. We're gonna be doing all sorts of programming on this real shortly. Second stop, I got a phone call about 2/3 of the way up. Picked this machine up in Indy. About 2/3 of the way there, I got a phone call from a friend of mine, Bill Tipton. Bill had a 1939 Harley-Davidson knucklehead basket case. Incidentally, actually lived just an hour north of Indy, so made the trip up, checked out the pile. New project for the museum here at Wheels Through Time. So kind of a bike in a box, guys. Everything's taken apart, and it's really pretty remarkable. When you deal with a basket case motorcycle, bikes in boxes, you never really know what you're gonna find. You don't know what sort of condition the bike was in before you got it. This bike, it looks like they must have taken apart an absolutely beautiful motorcycle. And when I got to the garage there, kind of looked everything over, and it was pretty apparent that almost every single piece had been boxed, categorized, put in a bin. All the hardware was there. Some of the most incredible sheet metal. You're looking at 1939, the pre-war Harley-Davidson stuff, incredibly hard to find. You got World Wars, scrap drives, recessions, depressions, all sorts of things that would have prevented things like this from surviving. Now, in the photos, Bill sent me, in the photos that Bill sent me, I didn't quite know what to think about the project overall. So made the trip to check it out. Got there, immediately looked at the fenders. These are some of the straightest, nicest fenders I've ever seen. Just absolutely incredible. Surface rust over primer there, so easy enough to fix. We'll be bringing this project to you, tons of content on the rebuild of this bike. Now, the frame itself, guys, these frames were whacked and cracked and dinged and dented, bent, and this frame is as nice of a Harley-Davidson knucklehead frame as I've ever seen. I actually spent probably 3 or 4 hours Thursday night after I picked it up in the trailer, going through the bins and boxes of hardware, finding all the little pieces, nuts and bolts, and put them in their proper spot. Brake crossover shaft, transmission mounting bolts, rear brake backing plates complete, chain tensioners, rear stand, seat tee, all of the stuff that you need to build a Harley-Davidson knucklehead still in the boxes. So for this thing to have survived and been kept and really nothing had been lost, or almost nothing had been lost. So just one of those, kind of speechless at the condition of this frame. You know, we deal with some pretty rough stuff. Luckily, there's some incredible restorers out there that revive and revamp these sorts of things. This one was about ready to put together. So inside the bins, guys, what do we got? The first one, here's the engine box. Now here, of course, the heart and soul of the motorcycle. Lower end still spins over, free as a bird. Tappet blocks, all the lifters are free, virtually no damage. You can see the inside there. You've got lightning timing gears, breather gear still intact. The cam is down in one of these boxes somewhere. Absolutely beautiful motor mounts. I mean, for this thing to be in as good a shape as it is, look at the underside of the motor mounts, Chris. There's nowhere. This is going to be one straightforward, easy rebuild. As you guys can see, matching cases. These are called line bore numbers. Line bore numbers, when they would pour a left case and a right case at the foundry, they'd bring them back to the factory to get machined. Now these, as you take a left case and a right case, you do all the machining process and mate these cases to be run together. After you mate them, they'd stamp in line bore numbers on each side. As you guys can see, 39-2053 line bore numbers. Absolutely incredible VIN number, so really excited. Still in the box also, original 4-fin cylinders. Look at this. Wow, that's a tight fit right there. Holy cow. What do we got? Maybe we can see the size of the piston there. Might have been a little bit of moisture in there. Interesting. 10 thousandths over bore. These cylinders got tons of meat. 36-9 only. Incredibly rare 4-fin cylinders. Of course, the heads. Beautiful 1939 heads with the small port and the boss there. Wow. Incredible. More parts. Toolbox. Look at this thing. This is incredible. Oh, no hinge. 1939 only. Or 39. Maybe 38 and 39. These are impossible to find. Beautiful. Nice as I've seen. Push rod tubes. Oil pump parts. The transmission. Brake drum. Clutch pedal. Is it the right one? 1939 only clutch pedal. So really awesome with the cover there with the little flare on it. Oh, guys, just awesome stuff. Stamp steel brake drum, battery lid. Wow. Now, 1939 had a 1-year only transmission. Inside, it's really kind of a funky setup. The Harley 4-speed was virtually the same from 1936 all the way through about almost 1984, at least how the inside worked. This one, 1939, was the only year that the shift pattern was actually different. They run first gear, second gear, neutral in between second and third gear, and then fourth gear. So this has got the 1939 Harley-Davidson transmission. I spun it over and made sure. Look, there's the cam. Nice cam. Good shape. No broken teeth. Lobes look really nice. There's your floorboard extensions. Extra stuff, hot rod stuff. Nice. fender light. These are getting tough to find. Yeah, inner primary is complete and in good shape. Looking this thing over, man, they must have just taken 39 knucklehead gas tanks. The 36-9 tanks, guys, nearly impossible to find. And that's just the neat thing about this. Same thing, all the sheet metal. Here's your 1 year only 1939 oil tank with the raised embossed top. Beautiful condition. Both the wings are there. Just some surface rust, but altogether the thing is in incredible shape. You know, these parts on their own are near impossible to find, and to find a project where all of this stuff is still intact. Pair of beautiful gas tanks, no dents, no dings, all the trim, early 1-2 year only motor mount, oil tank tray. Look at all this. This is the original trim, and 39 was pretty special years. The first year that they offered the side trim on the side of the fenders, but they also offered this top trim here that really, really set it off. You've got some examples inside the museum with all original stuff. Every piece of trim, it looks like, is here. I went and counted when I picked the bike up. Gosh, more. This is just awesome. Another oil tank mounting plate. Looks like a spare one of those. What these handlebars look like. Oh, man. Speedster bars. The throttle still spins. These are salvageable. Straight as an arrow, no dings or dent. No dings or dents. Doesn't look like the bike's ever been fallen over or anything like that. So what do we got in this one? Man, it's like Christmas all over again. I looked at this a couple days ago and messed around inside the trailer some, but been sitting in there for a few days. Just got home last night, and it's all I could think about last night. Inner primary, these are 3 year only, 36, 7, 8, 9, so that's 4 years. This one's in incredible shape. It's narrow for the narrow clutch, and it's got a small dent. A lot of times they're rubbed through here. Just awesome parts, guys. It just doesn't get any better than this. Dash, you know, I said, no, this bike was in a fire, he told me. And the fire was about 3 or 4 rooms over from where the bike was being stored. You can see the smoke damage. Yeah, it's pretty heavy smoke damage, but as far as the integrity of the metal, everything looks really nice. Original, early, well, I guess that'd be 39 to maybe 1942 dash. Would see with the V there, right below the switch. Yep. So that's an early knucklehead dash, not the early type, but gosh, man, and all the parts, guys, as you can see, brake rods and motor sprockets. There's a couple of them in there. Coil bolts, early brake lever. God, that's an impossible to find part. Look at this carburetor. M5 Linkert knucklehead carburetor. They used this for 4 years, 1936 to 9. This one appears to be in excellent shape. I cannot wait to start on this project, guys. This is going to go together very quickly. What do we got? 1 or 2 more boxes. Oh my gosh, everything's here. All right, backing plate, brake backing plate. It's the early type. I thought that was missing, so that's excellent there. I thought I was going to have to find one of those. Oh God, the glass. Look at this. Taillight lenses. Now the taillights, this is what we call a beehive taillight, and it's because that lens, I think, kind of just had the beehive shape to it. Early no screw cover, and this one here, it doesn't get any harder to find than this lens. Really cool. That's the top lens up top, and as you can see, it's got the Harley Davidson lettering scribed in the top. Smoke damage, you know, is an old chrome taillight. Looks a little rough. We can re-chrome it, we can paint it, so either way is good. This is one of those boxes you really want to take care of and make sure that everything stays just right. So put that up top there. What else do we got in here? Oh my God, look at this. 36, I think this would be 1935 to 39, 6-inch air cleaner. Guys look their whole lives for parts like this, and here they are. They're everywhere in all these boxes. Man, almost speechless, but I'm not speechless too often, guys. Shifter stuff, early cam cover, beautiful condition. Beautiful condition. This goes in the motor pile. And rocker arms, exhaust pipes, not rusted out. Manifolds, all the engine components, valve springs, and gas caps, and there's a beautiful early timer. Wow, just amazing. Knucklehead rocker arm nuts and spring fork parts, carburetor bolts, primary cover screws. There's that shift gate, tough piece to find. See, there's that first, second, neutral, third, and fourth. No idea why they did that. It made no sense. When you're hitting first gear to second, you're going slow enough, it's easier to go through neutral. Second gear, you ought to be running 35, 30, 35 mile an hour by the time you're getting into third gear. So to go through a neutral at that point was just tedious. Lasted 1 year only, so the 39 trans is very, very rare. Boxes of chains, what do we got there? Early, yeah, there's one of those expensive narrow rib 1939 and earlier belly pans there, engine guards, kickstand, beautiful condition, a little flat on the bottom. Here we guys up on the table, guys. The fork is fantastic. Now, keep in mind, surface rust, easily fixable. The overall color and shape of this, or the look of it, isn't the most attractive, but in reality, this fork is so straight, no cracking on the back. What tends to happen over years is water gets down in the top of the fork legs and actually freezes, and it develops these freeze cracks. This doesn't have any of those problems. Original early style ride control. This was your suspension dampening. Just incredible, man. I can't believe the shape that this stuff is in. So other pieces from the 39 or from the Wauseon swap meet. Now you guys got to imagine, I was on such a high from finding all this stuff. I could hardly even get my mind straight to go around the swap and look for parts. One of my favorite social events of the year. Get to see all sorts of buddies that we never see. Just awesome time. Spent a lot of time reminiscing with friends. Dug for parts a little bit. Now, as you guys noticed, we went through the whole project. There weren't any wheels, so I found one Harley-Davidson knucklehead wheel. Now, the early knuckleheads and flatheads took what we call a step hub. There's a little step in the hub. This is moto nerd stuff here. When the guys got to have all the correct stuff. The step hub, incredibly rare. Now, this one's been laced to the 16-inch wheel. The 16-inch wheel came out in 1940. So not the correct wheel. What we'll end up doing is harvesting this hub, Chris, and taking everything out. We'll save the rim and the spokes for some later project, use this hub, lace it to an 18-inch wheel, and we'll be set. So that was nice. No wheels for the project. You get to the swap meet, first thing we're doing is looking for new parts or looking for parts that aren't there. So early clutch, these early clutches are tough to find. I tend to buy every one that I can that's in good shape. This one's got the early backing plate, the pressure plate, springs, of course, we'll probably replace, and then there's a spare clutch hub also. Found a fork for the 38 knuckle project we're doing. Now the 38 is going to be a hot rod. It's actually a mild stroker. My friend Matt Olson made me up a set of special pistons. The Ross piston company made for us. So I'm really looking forward to that. The front end was one of the last components I needed. Got a UL gas tank for Chris's bike. So the UL tanks just had the indention here for the top of the flathead engine. Knucklehead tanks, as you guys can see, what's this, a right side tank? Knucklehead tanks dented way up on the underside there because you've got the taller motor. The big twin flatty tank, just a hair more capacity. This one 41 to 46. So they've got the strips here they came out with in 1941. The emblem, Harley Davidson chrome emblem here, would have been 1940 to 46. So Chris, we got one more to find.
Yeah,
we can find a left one, and we'll be well on our way to getting your sheet metal all set. So what else do we got here, guys? The oil tank, cool old-timey oil tank. Not sure exactly what it's from. I got this from a boat guy, so it may have been some outboard motor type of oil tank. We'll end up painting something cool on it and sticking it inside the museum. And so, the small parts, guys, tons of projects here at the museum, always looking for small stuff. I just had this cam rack for a Harley Davidson 1928 29 twin cam reserviced by my friend Mike Lang. So these are one of those early parts that wear out in every one of those engine. Mike reservices the pins, actually reground my cams just a touch, rebushed them, honed them so everything's absolutely perfect. New bolts on the back, slick as it gets. This is going to make for one awesome engine. Yeah, push rods, tappet blocks, an extra cam for the hot rod knucklehead. Pretty excited about this. And one of the neatest things, guys, the raincoat. It's like I'm waiting for it to cloud up because I want to put it on and go wear it and see how well it actually works. So there you guys have it. Wauseon Antique Bike Meet. I'm sure I left some stuff in the truck, and yeah, just really excited to get to work. As you guys know, we're always looking for new projects here at Wheels Through Time. If you hear of something old and rusty, call me. We're going to be working on this thing here right away. We got an open lift. Thanks a ton for tuning in, guys. Wauseon, Ohio, one of the big antique bike meets, kind of a must-do for us. So really excited on how things turned out. 1935 Harley-Davidson CAC. We're going to tell you all about that machine in the next show. Thanks for tuning in, guys.